to talk to you today about low back pain and sleeping position. So I'm going to give you some general advice here. For most people, this is going to work great, but if you find that this isn't working for you, then I would definitely suggest seeking a healthcare provider to get some help. So what we're going to talk about is one of the major things that we teach to decrease pain in people with low back pain is neutral spine or neutral zone of the spine. And what that is essentially your best possible posture while sitting, standing, lifting, well, even sleeping. So how do we do that while sleeping? It's kind of a strange and difficult thing. Well, you can do the best you can, and ultimately the most important thing is you're getting good sleep, and we will figure that out. Basically, if we can get you good sleep, then usually your pain will go away. So why don't we start with back sleepers? So I'm going to get you just laying on your back tape. Thank you. So ultimately, come around this way a little bit. Ultimately, when somebody is laying on their back, generally we want as tall and good a posture as possible. What we don't want is for their head to be flexed forward. So I'm going to lift you up just a second. So if he was like this, go ahead. Now, go ahead and relax down. So with your back like this, his head is pushed forward, right? So this isn't optimal for his neck or his back. If we just to take this away, look how far up he is, right? So go ahead and lift up all the way. So now back down. Sorry. So right here, now his back and his head is on the pillow. Now at least his neck is in a more neutral position. Now that does bring you back a little bit. So if you already snore, you're going to snore more. But this is the best position for your upper back and neck. Now for your low back, what you want is a little bit of curve here. Your back actually shouldn't be flat to the table. So for some people, I get a little round bowl, a little round pillow or something like that, and that just creates a little bit of curving here. So it basically creates a slight anterior pelvic tilt, and he's arching right here to allow that, but essentially that creates a little bit of space right in there and keeps your spine in a more neutral position, which is what we're wanting to do. Now the reality is, you can relax. Now the reality is you're going to move from this position. So if you end up laying on your side, it actually works well if you have a small pillow also. So usually what I recommend for someone with chronic low back pain is something called a McKenzie night roll. So it's this little round pill that comes all the way around from your low back to here and ties around the front. So if you sleep on your side, other side, or your low back, you're in good position. When you sleep on your stomach, it puts you in just the right position. The other thing is when you're laying on your back is you can, go ahead and lift up, you can put a small pillow, not this big one, small pillow underneath your knees to decrease some of the pressure on your low back, and that will help a bunch. So this is probably your best position for laying on your back. Let's get you on your side. I'll have you face this way. So if you're a side sleeper, there's all sorts of stuff to change here. So optimally, if you just look at his neck position, see how he had to put his hand there just to keep his head neutral with his spine? Well, what we want to do, lift your head up please, is go like this, and then you might have to also put your hand there just to keep your head relatively neutral. So in this position, you could probably take your hand out and that'd be good enough position for you there. So ultimately, we want the spine neutral. So right now, he's a little bit flexed, so I would have you bring your head back. And also, his pelvis, he's got a flat back here. So again, the low back has a slight curve in it. So in this case, he would be like that. I would want his pelvis a little bit like this, and his feet not as much flexed forward, but actually pulled back slightly like this to make that low back curve easier to do. Excuse me. And then we would put a big pillow or something like that between his knees like that. So I'm actually not a big fan of side sleeping. Reason is people get hip bursitis, they get pain on the side of their hip. All the weight resting on their shoulder causes ischemia, which is basically a lack of blood flow, causes pain in the shoulder. So what I much prefer, thank you Tim Ferriss, many, many years ago, is the army crawl position. So what we do to put you in the army crawl position is first get this arm on the downside and put it behind you. Then we bring this leg, we straighten out this bottom leg like this and put a really big pillow here. I'm going to bring this up a little bit, up, and I'm actually going to fold this right underneath so he's nice. I bet you're ready to catch some Z's now. He's like, go ahead and rest your head right there. So this position is much better because now not all of his weight is on that shoulder. It's more evenly distributed through both sides, and instead of being kind of protracted and rounded like this, this arm is back and he's more in this position. This one's slightly back also. So he's in better posture while sleeping. And then his spine is still in a neutral position, but not straight on the side or not face down or on his back. So that's side posture. So army crawl is one of the best for side sleeping. Now let's get you face down. So for low back pain and laying face down, really your options are basically like this, which puts a lot of torque on the neck. Let's have you turn the other way. What I would recommend is kind of this diagonal position like that. So there's a little bit less stress on the neck. So instead of being straight sideways, he's 45. Also, some people can sleep on their stomach, some can't. If you've got hip flexor problems or what's called a facet syndrome in your back, this face down position can cause an anterior pelvic rotation, which would jam the facets. Go ahead and relax there. So sometimes people will only sleep on their stomach if they've got a pillow underneath there, which kind of lifts them up and keeps them flat. Go ahead and relax. One of the things you can do is, go ahead and lift your feet, is put a small pillow. Again, this thing's not small, it's a big one, but a small pillow underneath your feet like that. So that is on your back, on your side, army crawl, or face down sleeping position for your low back.